As a second attempt to arrest the president draws near, the Corruption Investigation Office and police are mapping out their plans for an arrest that looks more difficult. Meanwhile, the president's security service chief, who had been defiant, today appeared before police for questioning. Best Innovative Ideas were awarded at this year's Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas for home appliances and mobile devices, among other categories. Among the winners were LG, Samsung, and Sony. Wildfires continue to wreak havoc on Los Angeles in the U.S., killing at least 10 people and destroying thousands of buildings. It's January 10th, 8 p.m. in Seoul. This is Newscenter. Thank you for joining us. I'm Yoon Jung-min. We continue our coverage of the tense situation following the president's martial law declaration last month. The CIO and police are working to finalize their strategy to arrest President Yoon Suk Yeol with more thorough approach this time. For more, we have our correspondent Choi Min-jung standing by at the National Office of Investigation in Seoul's Seodaemungu district. Min-jung, we hear key police officials convened a meeting today.
Right, Jung-min, key police commanders met today to prepare for the second attempt to arrest President Yoon, and the National Office of Investigation summoned the heads of the investigation units from Seoul, Gyeonggi-do Province, and other areas of the capital region to gather at 2 p.m. And the heads of mobile detective divisions and teams handling espionage, anti-corruption cases, and drug investigations participated in the meeting. They are expected to have discussed specific plans for executing the arrest warrant for Yoon, as well as their feasibility and any potential legal issues. The police are expected to deploy a large team of experienced officers to outnumber the Presidential Security Service, and in the first arrest attempt, around 120 officers were deployed. This time, the number is expected to reach about 1,000. So the CIO and police are putting their heads together to finalize their strategy, working on the timing and the method of the arrest.
Presidential Security Service Chief Park Jong-jun, who's accused of disrupting the execution of the arrest, appeared before the police this morning after he reportedly offered to resign. What's the latest on that?
Right, we learned today that the now former chief offered to resign before appearing for the questioning, and acting President Choi Sang-mok accepted the resignation. And despite the resignation, Park appeared at the NOI at 10 a.m. today, and the questioning has been going on for several hours now. His appearance today came as a surprise, as he was widely expected to refuse his third summons, as he did the previous two requests. So it's his first appearance since being charged with blocking the CIO from executing a warrant to arrest Yoon last week. And the former chief said that he understands the public's growing concern over the clashes between government institutions, and he stressed that physical confrontations and bloodshed must be avoided. He argued that any investigation should be conducted in a manner befitting the status of the president. Take a listen.
I don't believe the current arrest warrant execution process is appropriate. I hope the investigation is conducted in a manner appropriate for the president, aligning with the dignity of our country.
Meanwhile, acting President Choi said in a statement that unfortunately it is difficult to find a clear resolution to the conflict between the investigation team and the Presidential Security Service under the current legal framework. That's all I have for now. Back to you, Jung-min.
All right, thanks Min-jung for the updates. That was our correspondent Choi Min-jung live from the investigation office. Now, let us go over to our correspondent Shin Ha-young standing by near the presidential residence. Ha-young, what can you tell us in terms of the execution of the arrest warrant?
Well, I'm currently out here nearby the presidential residence in Hannam-dong Yongsan-gu district in Central Seoul. And today marks the 4th day since a new arrest warrant for President Yoon Suk Yeol was issued. However, there hasn't been any significant movement yet, but with a second attempt to execute the arrest warrant expected soon, the Presidential Security Service has reinforced the residence with vehicle barriers and barbed wire fencing. And the CIO has not revealed the period of validity of the second arrest warrant yet, but some media outlets suggest it might be longer than the previous one, 7 days, with some even speculating it could be for about 3 weeks until the end of the Lunar New Year holiday Seollal. And however, the investigators hesitated in confirming anything regarding the validity period. And meanwhile, President Yoon's team urged the Defense Ministry today to focus on its duty to protect the presidential residence. In a written statement, Yoon's legal team criticized the ministry for refusing to deploy military units, calling it an abandonment of its responsibilities and demanding the decision be revoked. And last week, the ministry stated that using military forces to block the CIO's execution of the arrest warrant would be inappropriate.
You know, it's freezing cold out there. What's the atmosphere like among the protesters near the presidential residence?
Well, as you can see behind me, despite the freezing weather, neither the pro nor anti-impeachment sides are showing any signs of leaving their rallies. The extreme cold kept the crowd small until this morning, but more people gathered as the day went on. And with temperatures falling below zero, participants are bundled up in thick coats and blankets, drinking hot tea to stay warm. And anti-Yoon protesters are demanding the arrest warrant be executed quickly, while nearby Yoon supporters are making their voices heard, calling for the impeachment to be overturned and the arrest halted. When Park Jong-jun, now a former chief of the Presidential Security Service, unexpectedly resigned just a few hours ago, Yoon supporters rallying near his residence let out signs of disappointment. That's all I have for this hour. Jung-min.
That was our Shin Ha-young reporting live from Hannam-dong in the capital. President Yoon's impeachment trial officially begins next Tuesday, January 14th, at the Constitutional Court, and whether or not he will be there in person remains unclear. Oh Soo-young reports.
President Yoon Suk Yeol has not disclosed whether he will attend this first impeachment trial hearing at the Constitutional Court on Tuesday. Court press officer Choi Jae-yeon said Friday that Yoon's legal team has not yet clarified the president's attendance. Yoon's lawyers have said that the president himself will speak before the court, but they have not yet decided whether he will attend the first trial hearing on Tuesday. When he does show up, the prosecutor-turned-president will become the first South Korean leader to defend himself against impeachment here at the Constitutional Court. His attorney Yoon Gov't said the day before that various issues concerning the court's proceedings would have to be resolved to a certain extent before the president would make a court appearance. It seems precautions are being taken all the same. On Friday morning, the court announced it will stop distributing on-site tickets for members of the public wishing to observe the impeachment hearing. It explained in a press release that the measure is to ensure public safety due to severe congestion caused by pro- and anti-impeachment rallies near the main entrance. However, online viewing is still available through a lottery system. According to officials, court staff have discussed security details ahead of the high-profile hearing, but could not confirm whether they had consulted with the Presidential Security Service. In the meantime, justices will continue to examine crucial evidence as they prepare for the hearing over the weekend. Chun said the 8-member bench held a meeting to discuss the admissibility and organisation of the submitted evidence so far. These are believed to include investigation records from the National Police Agency, the Defense Ministry's Prosecutor's Office, and the Seoul Central District Prosecutor's Office. The National Assembly side had earlier requested the court to secure probe materials related to Yoon's declaration of emergency martial law last month. The press officer added that Yoon's side had not submitted further written evidence or material other than applying for another power of attorney for former Judge Cha Gi-hwan, taking the number of the president's legal team to 8 representatives. The team has complained about the speed of the trial hearings and the scheduling of multiple hearing dates without consultation. Also, they have argued fiercely against National Assembly panel's decision to remove insurrection charges from the main grounds for impeachment, saying that retracting the core reasons cited in the Assembly's impeachment resolution defeats the purpose of holding the trial. Justices have comprehensively reviewed the matter, according to the press officer, and discussed the direction of the trial hearings. 오수영, Arirang News.
The world is also keeping a close eye on the fallout of the brief martial law imposition. While the UN Secretary General expresses his confidence in the resilience of South Korea's democracy, global credit ratings companies say prolonged turmoil could affect foreign investors. Kim Do-yeon tells us more.
Amid global attention as South Korea's political turmoil continues, acting president and deputy prime minister for finance Choi Sang-mok has assured UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres that South Korea's government is operating with stability. This came during a phone call on Friday morning where Choi showed his commitment to managing South Korea's diplomatic relations. In response, the UN Secretary General expressed his full confidence in the robustness and resilience of South Korea's democratic system while extending his condolences to the victims and bereaved families of the Jeju air accident. Choi on Friday also took time to update global credit ratings companies on South Korea's response since the political turmoil began. He spoke to Marie Diron of Moody's, James Longston of Fitch, and Kim Eng-tan of S&P, where he said that the numbers seem to have recovered to pre-emergency martial law declaration times. He also introduced the newly kicked-off joint consultative body between government and rival parties to discuss state affairs, which will swiftly pass necessary laws for the people. In response, the three highly rated the government's quick and transparent response to the current situation. They added that while the current political uncertainty's impact on the nation's economy is limited, if it's prolonged, it'll affect foreign asset investment decisions, which can't be ignored. Kim Do-yeon, Arirang News.
In other news, the authorities announced special measures today to encourage resigned trainee doctors to return to hospitals. Deputy Prime Minister Lee Joo-ho announced Friday that the Education and Health Ministries are creating special exemptions to allow resigned resident doctors to return to their previous posts and postpone military service until the completion of their medical training. Until now, trainee doctors have been banned from applying for the same specialty and stage of training from which they resigned within the last 12 months, and their resignation subjected them to military enlistment. The exceptions to these rules follow Acting President Choi Sang-mok's order for relevant ministries to encourage doctors to return to their previous posts, and after multiple medical associations made similar suggestions to the government. Many intern and resident doctors left their jobs after the government announced a nationwide medical school enrollment quota increased last February. Harrowing scenes of destructions in the Los Angeles area have prompted much disbelief and dismay as raging wildfires continue to engulf homes and more. Kim Jong-soo covers the calamity there.
Several wildfires fueled by dry conditions and strong winds are raging across the Los Angeles area. The devastation has already claimed at least 10 lives and destroyed thousands of buildings. Evacuation orders have forced nearly 180,000 residents to flee their homes. Among the most destructive is the massive Palisades fire, which has scorched more than 17,000 acres since erupting on Tuesday, driven by hurricane-force winds.
As soon as I opened my door, it was like right there, and then the first thing I did was looked at the trees to see where the wind was blowing, because it hit me, it blew me back.
The fires have wreaked havoc on several communities, especially in coastal neighborhoods where residents are grappling with widespread destruction.
Obviously, the house across the street just unfortunately burned down, and 4 houses down. So it's been definitely a rough ride for the community over the past few days.
Fire Chief Christine Crawley highlighted the fire's catastrophic impact.
It is safe to say that the Palisades fire is one of the most destructive natural disasters in the history of Los Angeles.
Recognizing the scale of destruction, U.S. President Joe Biden pledged the federal government will cover 100% of disaster response costs for 6 months, up from 75%. The fires have destroyed homes of celebrities like Billy Crystal and Paris Hilton, and even postponed the Oscar nominations, now delayed by 2 days. The U.S. government's 5th National Climate Assessment links a growing intensity and frequency of California wildfires to climate change, citing intensified droughts and increased fuel buildup. Experts warn that without significant action, such disasters will only grow more severe in the years to come. 김정실, Arirang News.
Up next, we share with you the innovations that garnered some of the most enthusiastic applause at this year's Consumer Electronics Show. Our correspondent Moon Hae-ryun files this report from that event.
Among the incredible tech on display at CES 2025, the CTA draws attention to a select few lauded for their excellence in design and engineering through the CES Innovation Awards. LG Electronics made a remarkable showing at CES 2025, securing 3 Best of Innovation awards. Leading the accolades was LG's OLED TV, and this marks the 3rd consecutive year that this product's line has earned the Best of Innovation award and an unprecedented 13 consecutive years of CES Innovation Awards. In the gaming category, the LG UltraGear OLED gaming monitor was a standout, clinching the Best of Innovation award. The curve of the monitor fits the curved angle of the human eyeball, meaning that there is no distortion of the video on the screen perceived by our eyes. And another South Korean tech giant, Samsung Electronics, emerged as a standout at CES 2025, receiving CES Innovation Awards across a range of categories, including video displays, home appliances, and mobile devices. Samsung's dominance in the video display category continues with 3 Best of Innovation honors as its 2025 lineup of TVs, monitors, and related services underscored its leadership in cutting-edge display technology, while the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro also claimed a Best of Innovation award in the mobile category. Sony, as a renowned audio and display powerhouse, was honored with 2 Best of Innovation awards for its flagship theater speakers and its XR head-mounted display and controller. The display is part of its groundbreaking spatial content creation system that targets creators in entertainment and industrial design by harnessing Sony's imaging, sensing, and display technologies to capture real-world elements. It may look like a lot of headsets currently on the market, but it contains a number of elements that enable seamless creation.
So, as you can see, this head-mount display is a flip up. It can be flip up, so if you want to go back to the display, you don't have to take it out all the time.
CES is a global stage for firms to launch upcoming tech for the first time, and this year there were some exciting reveals from a number of big names in tech. During the keynote opening speech, NVIDIA unveiled its new graphic processing unit chips for gamers, creators, and developers. The chip maker and AI darling aims to give video games graphics that are film standard, enabling game developers to create more realistic human faces and environments all set with realistic imperfections. Part of the GeForce RTX 50 line is due to hit the shelves at the end of the month, with others available starting in February. After the reveal, NVIDIA's stocks rocketed to record highs, showing the level of anticipation for these chips. Samsung SDS launched a new extension of its Pretty Copilot software that utilizes generative AI to provide a service capable of recognizing and translating more than 3 languages simultaneously in real time. During a live demonstration, a Vietnamese employee asked a question in their native language, and moments later the question was translated into Korean. Currently, Pretty Copilot supports real-time voice recognition and subtitle translation for 10 languages and text translation for 15. The new update, coming in the following months, showcased at CES, enables the service to support real-time vocal translations, making it the first of its kind in the world. Hyundai Mobis, another South Korean firm, revealed its new holographic windshield display that aims to be on the market by 2028.
Normally, people think in consumer area, transparent display can be made by OLED and micro LED, but in automotive area, the environment is quite different.
This display is gaining attention because transparent holographic displays in cars face unique challenges: visibility under sunlight, adapting to the curved windshield, and durability in harsh conditions like high humidity, temperatures, and vibrations. With groundbreaking innovations and record-setting achievements, CES 2025 has once again set the stage for a thrilling glimpse into the future of technology. Moon Hae-ryun, Arirang News, Las Vegas.
Back on the local front, Korea's Museum of Contemporary Art played host to over 220,000 foreign visitors last year, its highest ever. Our Lee In-hee tells us why.
Amid increasing global interest in Korean art, the National Museum of Modern and Contemporary Art achieved a milestone in 2024, welcoming more than 220,000 foreign visitors. The record number of visitors was also driven in part by the increasing influx of international tourists to South Korea. The figure is a 6% increase compared to 2023 and a 36% rise compared to 2019 before the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2024, the highest number of international visitors came from the US, accounting for around 27% of the total, followed by European countries at over 26%, China with nearly 20%, and then Japan and Southeast Asia. Let's hear what foreign visitors have to say about Korean arts and culture and what particularly impressed them.
We have a friend where we come from in the United States who is Korean and is an artist, a very successful artist, and she recommended specifically that we come here, and I think we like it very much.
I was very surprised actually by the cost. It's very affordable and very accessible to everyone, which I think is a really positive thing and very different from the States. Museums can be very expensive and very costly.
One of the standout exhibitions from last year, Back to the Future, at the Seoul branch, attracted 50,000 international visitors, showcasing contemporary Korean art and works collected from 2018 to 2022.
I came here also to experiment the Korean country in general, but also since I'm also working for a gallery, the idea for me was to look closer at what we could do with Korean art, what kind of collaboration we could do with the gallery that I'm working for.
The MMCA is also expanding internationally and plans more overseas exhibitions to showcase Korea's rich culture.
Last year, the museum held exhibitions in the United States and Taiwan, and this year it will expand further with exhibitions in Singapore, China, Japan, and Italy. The MMCA anticipates continued growth in its international presence in the years to come.
The increase in foreign visitors is also being attributed to efforts to enhance services for international audiences. Last February, the museum launched an English language newsletter and produced short-form content with English narration and subtitles. The museum also introduced Welcome to MMCA, an educational program for foreign residents, and established a foreign supporter program offering personalized services through social media in 20 languages. The English language newsletter will soon introduce a new section, in-depth interviews with Korean artists, to provide a closer look at Korean creators. Set to launch in March, this new content aims to bring Korean artists closer to a global audience. Lee In-hee, Arirang News.
The strong cold wave that began yesterday led to the lowest temperature recorded this winter in many areas this morning. With cold wave warnings and advisories for most parts of the country, this cold spell will continue tomorrow morning. Snow has been falling on the west coast of the Jeolla-do provinces and on Jeju Island sporadically. Strong snow of around 1 to 3 centimeters per hour will be concentrated again around the west coast areas of the Jeolla-do provinces until tonight. In addition, up to 20 centimeters of snow is expected in the mountainous areas of Jeju Island and up to 5 to 8 centimeters on the west coast parts of Chungcheongnam-do province and the Jeolla-do provinces. The extreme cold will continue tomorrow morning with Seoul, Daegu, and Gyeongju at -8 degrees. Daily highs will move up to 3 degrees in Gwangju, Busan 5 degrees. Temperatures will move back to the norms from tomorrow afternoon. That's all for Korea. Here are the weather conditions around the world.
That is Newscenter for tonight. Thank you for watching. A panel session coming up.